confirmed number of new coronavirus cases reported in Los Angeles County over the last 24 hours is 7,017, with 65 additional deaths. Here in Torrance, 70 additional cases were reported with 2 new deaths. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Leslie Robbins. It's Monday, February 7th. We have new benchmarks to work up to if we want to ditch some mask requirements in LA County. The county's public health director, Dr. Barbara Ferrer, says when transmission is lower, we will be relaxing some rules, but we are not there yet. The county will be considered post-surge when daily COVID-19 hospitalizations drop below 2,500 for 7 consecutive days. At that point, hospitals will be given the green light to go back to providing services that may have been halted due to the virus. Hospitalizations have dropped about 1,000 last week compared to the week before. Now, while that's a promising sign, public health officials say it is unlikely for our area to reach the post-surge goal before the Super Bowl, which of course takes place this Sunday at SoFi Stadium. Masks are required for every attendee. When the county hits fewer than 2,500 hospitalizations for 7 days, masks will no longer be required at outdoor mega events with 5,000 people, with more than 5,000 people, that is, such as at Dodger Stadium. Masks can also be ditched at outdoor spaces at K through 12 schools and child care facilities. But face coverings will still be required at many other places, such as indoor school locations, offices, hospitals, jails, homeless shelters, and public transit. If the metrics continue to drop in LA County for the following 2 weeks, with less than 50 new cases per 100,000 people a week, more mask requirements will get loosened. At that point, people can ditch their masks in indoor portions of bars, events, offices, and restaurants. It could take a while for LA County to get to that level, though, as we are still logging more than 1,200 cases per 100,000 residents. County officials say a post-surge stage does not mean that the pandemic is over or that transmission is low. They say it simply means the region is seeing consistent declines from the surge's peak that allows them to tweak the health response. Both CVS and Walgreens are lifting their limits on the number of rapid COVID-19 tests people can buy at one time. Now, they've worked with vendors to increase their inventory and are removing the product limits nationwide and online. This news comes as the average number of COVID-19 cases have been dropping across the U.S. from more than 800,000 3 weeks ago to less than 300,000 last week. Private insurers must cover the cost of 8 rapid tests per month under a new policy that took effect in January. Americans can order an additional 4 free rapid tests from the federal government by logging onto special.usps.com/testkits. COVID-19 is the leading cause of death in LA County, beating coronary heart diseases, which was historically number 1. Now, between March 1st, 2020 and December 31st, 2021, close to 25,000 Angelenos died from the coronavirus, compared to slightly more than 21,500 from coronary heart diseases. Over the same time period, there were just over 3,400 pneumonia and influenza deaths recorded. Public health officials say older and unvaccinated residents continue to be the most at risk of ending up in intensive care units or dying. The 7-day average of those in the ICU with COVID-19 has been in the mid-700s throughout February. 20% of all COVID-positive hospitalized patients required ICU-level care, and 14% required ventilation at last count. Those 65 and older made up the majority of those in the ICU. Public health officials say fully vaccinated and boosted residents are 31 times less likely to need care in an ICU than those who are not vaccinated. High COVID-19 vaccination and booster rates are credited for a much lower peak this time at skilled nursing facilities. LA County public health officials say residents at these institutions experienced a peak death rate that was more than 5 times lower during the Omicron surge compared to the previous winter's surge. The latest data shows the 7-day average death rate dropped from 106 residents per 100,000 during the peak of the 2020 to 2021 winter surge to 21 residents per 100,000 during the most recent Omicron peak. That's a 80% reduction in the peak death rate among skilled nursing facility residents, despite a 15% increase in the infection rate over recent months. Public health officials say for the week ending on January 23rd, 91% of residents and 97% of staff were reported as fully vaccinated, and 85% of residents and 75% of staff were reported as both vaccinated and boosted. Governor Gavin Newsom announced $45 million to fund housing projects in LA and Sacramento as a part of the state's effort to combat homelessness. The projects are a part of Project Home Key, which lets cities and counties buy hotels, apartments, and similar lodging to house those who are at risk or are experiencing homelessness. 66,000 people were estimated to be experiencing homelessness in LA County alone in January of 2020. The project began during the pandemic as a largely federally funded program and housed close to 8,300 people statewide last year, which state officials say was the fastest, largest, and most cost-effective addition of permanent housing in California history. Through the latest announcement, LA will get $21 million to buy a newly constructed apartment building offering 78 units of permanent supportive housing. Residents will also get on-site supportive services such as case management, income support, and access to physical and behavioral health care, substance abuse treatment, and eviction prevention. The remainder of the $45 million will go towards hotel acquisition in Sacramento. California is offering $10,000 for college students to work on a number of important tasks. Governor Newsom says the College Corps will be roughly the size of the entire Peace Corps. California Volunteers, a commission on public service, announced Californians for All College Corps last month, a kind of state GI Bill for volunteer work. It offers $10,000 in tuition subsidies for about 6,500 college students to work part-time on climate change, food insecurity, and tutoring. The initiative has 3 main goals: engage college students in meaningful service opportunities that build leadership skills and civic responsibility, help students from diverse backgrounds graduate college on time and with less debt, and support the work of community-based organizations focused on key local priorities. The Youth Job Corps is paid for by $185 million of federal stimulus money. The College Corps will begin this fall at 45 public and private university campuses. The official 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics is officially underway. The opening ceremony took place Friday early morning if you watched it from here in LA. Torrance native Chloe Kim will compete in the women's half-pipe qualifying event tomorrow. It will air at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on NBC and Peacock. The women's half-pipe final will be shown at the same time the following day, Wednesday, February 9th. Kim, a daughter of South Korean immigrants, won the gold medal in 2018 after dominating the competition with her signature sequence of back-to-back 1080s. She took nearly 2 years off between 2019 and 2021 to heal from an ankle injury. Well, so far, Team USA won a total of 3 medals, all silver, and one of those silver medals was won by South Bay native figure skater Madison Chalk. She and her partner on and off the ice, Evan Bates, were chosen as co-captains of the U.S. squad for the figure skating team's event. Another South Bay native athlete, men's hockey player Brendan Brisson, is also competing in the games. The U.S. Olympic men's hockey team will match up with China on Thursday, February 10th, to open the competition. But there are very limited fans watching the events in person. Olympics organizers announced last month that no international fans will be allowed due to the pandemic. Super Bowl Sunday is just days away now, and as you can imagine, tickets are incredibly hard to come by and expensive. Get this, the cheapest seats still cost more than $5,000. So while most of us can't be there in person, just a few miles from the SoFi Stadium are dozens of bars, hotels, and restaurants in Torrance with large screen TVs with the best views of this year's biggest game. Torrance has a dozen craft breweries scattered throughout the city, with many of them gearing up for game day specials. You can grab a Super Bowl brewery map at the California Welcome Center inside the Del Amo Fashion Center. The mall itself has a number of restaurant options, including BJ's Restaurant and Brew House, Buffalo Wild Wings, and the Lazy Dog Restaurant and Bar. Discover Torrance also has a website dedicated to all things Super Bowl, with more specials being added as we get closer to the big game. Well, right now there are lots of deals featuring a diverse array of cuisines, from Japanese platters at the Miyako Hotel to Mexican at Madre's, and a Super Bowl special menu at Andre's restaurant inside the Torrance Doubletree. You can check out discovertorrance.com/events/super-bowl-LVI throughout the week to see the latest offers. The city of Torrance is remembering a key figure who helped create the American Youth Soccer Association. Former Torrance resident Hans Sturley passed away over the weekend. He was considered the founding father of AYSO. Sturley helped launch the nonprofit in 1964 out of a garage in Torrance with a few other parents, and served as its first chairman and president. The first ever AYSO game was held at Jefferson Middle School almost exactly 57 years ago on February 13th, 1965. Sturley's wife, Crystal, became the league's first soccer mom, making sure that all the teams had proper equipment and uniforms. Since then, the oldest national youth soccer program has grown to become part of the world's biggest soccer club. A growing group of prominent athletes got their start at AYSO, including retired soccer player and two-time Olympic gold medalist Mia Hamm and New York Yankees Mr. Derek Jeter. Sturley moved to the Pacific Northwest during the latter years of his life. Our deepest condolences to the Sturley family. The Switzer Learning Center, a Torrance-based nonprofit special education school, has a new executive director. The company announced that this month, Dr. Rebecca E. Fu is leaving after 33 years of dedicated service and handing over the position to Jeremy Deming starting today. Dr. Fu initially worked with students as a member of the clinical staff. She became the ED in 1994 and led the organization to become a model special education program with a state-of-the-art campus right here in Torrance. She was recognized by various organizations, including the California State Assembly in 2006. where she was honored as the California Woman of the Year for her work with children with special needs and for her leadership in the field of special education. She was also honored in 2010 by El Camino College as a Woman of Distinction and inducted into its Women's Wall of Fame. Deming says he is grateful for the opportunity to serve as the new ED. He spent more than 20 years working in the nonprofit sector and held various executive positions in youth development nationwide. Congratulations on your retirement, Dr. Fu, and welcome to the community, Mr. Deming. The annual Greater Los Angeles Homeless Count takes place over 3 days and 3 nights this month, and the city of Torrance needs your help. The city has served as a deployment site and partners with the LA Homeless Services Authority, local municipalities, law enforcement, and community members to get the official statistics of what homelessness looks like in our community. These are then used to bring the much-needed services and housing to the South Bay. This year, the count takes place on Wednesday, February 23rd at the Ken Miller Recreation Center. You do not need any prior experience to volunteer. Due to the pandemic, volunteers are limited to 2 or 3 individuals from the same household. Those under the age of 18 must volunteer with a parent or a guardian. Families can register together at theycount.org/Torrance_count_2022-0126. If you have any questions, email the City of Torrance leads listed on your screen. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share feel-good stories from our community. Pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. Well, over the weekend, a part of the Delamo Fashion Center transformed into a Black History Month outdoor soiree, featuring more than 40 vendors selling clothes, jewelry, home decor, and other goods. Looks like many shoppers dropped by to show their support and help celebrate this important time of year. The event took place through most of Saturday from noon to 7 p.m. And what a great way to shop for a cause and show how Torrance truly cares. Now, if you have a great story, an upcoming event, a photo, or a video you would like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We would love to hear from you. Well, that is our update for COVID-19 today. We will see you back here tomorrow as Rihanna Chutanich brings you the latest. Please be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.